Hello and welcome back. Welcome to class number 178. We have 18 classes left. Only 18 classes, but welcome anyway. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad to have you back for another class. I'm glad to know that you are a loyal student. I'm glad to see that you're making an effort to attend every class. And so I'm glad to have you as a student. I'm glad. And so I'm glad that you are willing and ready to finish this course with me and to stay with me for the next 18 days and with the other teachers. All of us are looking forward to finishing our responsibility with this course, but we're also looking forward to seeing you again sometime in the future studying English, working hard. Okay, so class number 178, but we'll start with a brief review. A short review, a brief review of class 177. Camera 1, please. Okay, who do you work with? Who does your father work with? Who do you have lunch with? Who does the President of Spain or the President of the government deal with on foreign affairs? Who does he deal with in military affairs? Who does he deal with in law enforcement affairs? Who does he deal with in affairs relating to the parliament? Who does he deal with election matters? Who does he deal with? Who do you deal with? Or who do you see when you have a health problem? Who do you speak to if you have a skin problem? Who do you see? Do you see a dermatologist or do you see a dentist? Who do you see when you have a skin problem? Who do you see when you have a tooth problem? Who do you see when you have a problem with your eyes? Do you see an ophthalmologist or a dermatologist? Who do you see when you have problems with your bones? Okay? Who do you see? All right. If I had known, yo, si hubiera sabido, if I had known, yes. Yeah, if I had known you were going to come, I would have been prepared. Yes. And going back to the Bible, do you remember? Yes. God expelled Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden because they disobeyed him. Yeah. If Adam and Eve hadn't disobeyed God, they wouldn't have been expelled from the Garden of Eden. They were sent out. They were sent away from the Garden of Eden because they disobeyed God. They wouldn't have been sent away if they had obeyed God. But they were sent away because they didn't, all right? And they had two children, Cain and Abel. Cain was the eldest and Abel the younger one. And they gave offerings to God. God accepted Abel's offerings, but he didn't accept Cain's because Cain's offerings were not made with sincere feelings. All right. If Cain had made his offerings with sincere feelings, God would have accepted them, but he didn't. And so God didn't accept Cain's offerings, but he accepted Abel's. If God hadn't accepted Abel's offerings either, Cain wouldn't have become envious of Abel, of his younger brother, but he did. And if he hadn't become envious, he wouldn't have killed his brother. All right? And if God hadn't seen Cain killing his brother, God wouldn't have sent Cain al este de Eden, east of Eden. All right? Yes. Now God destroyed the world because the people were bad, except for Noah and his family. If the people hadn't been bad, God wouldn't have destroyed life. All right? If the people hadn't been bad, Noah wouldn't have built an ark. But God decided to destroy life and to start again. If he hadn't wanted to start again, he wouldn't have destroyed life. But he told Noah to build an ark. And he chose Noah because Noah was a good man. If Noah hadn't been a good man, God wouldn't have chosen him. Okay? And God told Noah to conserve all of two members of each species. If God hadn't told him to do this, he wouldn't have filled his ark with animals. All right? And God destroyed the world with rain. Yes, if he hadn't wanted to destroy the world, he wouldn't have caused the rain or the flood. All right? Noah stayed on the ark for 40 days. No, excuse me, longer. Noah stayed on the ark for a long time because he couldn't find any land. If he had found land, he wouldn't have stayed on the ark so many days. Noah sent a dove looking for land because he had a dove. If he hadn't had a dove, he wouldn't have sent it to look for land. Okay? The dove came back with an olive branch because it found land. If the dove hadn't found land, it wouldn't have flown back to the ark with an olive branch. Okay? Later, Abraham went to Israel because God told him to go. If God hadn't told him to go, he wouldn't have gone. And Abraham married Sarah because he fell in love with her. If he hadn't fallen in love with her, he wouldn't have married her. All right? And Sarah couldn't give birth because she was barren. If she hadn't been barren, she would have given birth. She finally gave birth to Isaac because God made her fertile. If God hadn't made her fertile, she wouldn't have given birth to Isaac. All right? God asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac to show his loyalty to God. If God hadn't wanted to see a proof of loyalty from Abraham, he wouldn't have told him to sacrifice his son. Okay? Isaac survived this moment because God decided to sacrifice a ram. If God hadn't decided to sacrifice a ram, un carnero, a ram, Isaac wouldn't have survived that moment. Oh, I have to go because Maria is telling me to stop. If she weren't telling me to stop right now, I would continue.
Hello everyone, my name is Layla. Today we're going to do a review class. And to help me with this, Anna's here. Anna, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Are you ready to start practicing?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. At home, are you ready to start practicing? All right then. The first part of the program is going to be the pronunciation of the word quién. How do you say that in Spanish?
¿Quién?
Quién.
¿Quién?
How do you say that in Spanish? I said in English.
Oh, who?
Who, okay? Ha. Say it with me. The who, okay? Where does the H sound come from? The H sound comes from the throat, all right? It's a throat sound and it's unvoiced. You do not use your vocal cords, so you need to let air out. Who, okay? So I don't want to hear who, okay? Because that sound in English doesn't exist, all right? So how do you say quién?
Who?
Fantastic. Okay, at home, how do you say quién? Who. All right, are you ready to practice who?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So I will give you a sentence and I want you to ask me who.
Okay.
Okay? I was making pasta when my boyfriend's phone rang.
Who was making pasta when your boyfriend's phone rang?
Exactly. Okay, but what was that? Did you hear intonation? Because I didn't hear intonation.
Okay. Who was making pasta when your boyfriend's phone rang?
Okay, good. All right. Who? Okay. Good. The next one. I was in the middle of something really important when my mom called.
Who was in the middle of something really important when your mom called?
Exactly. Okay, but the intonation,
Who was doing something very
who was in the middle of?
Who was in the middle of something very important when your mom called?
Okay, really important.
Who was in the middle of something really important when your mom called?
Good. Okay. Who was in the middle of something really important when my mom called? I was, right? Who was?
You were.
Okay. I was about to walk out the door. Okay, what does that expression mean? To walk out the door.
Estaba a punto de salir. ¿No?
Exactly. Okay, so to be about to leave. Okay, so I was about to walk out the door. Estaba a punto de marcharme. I was about to walk out the door when my friend's mom called.
Who was about to walk out the door when your friend's mom called?
Okay, can you say the verb andar for me?
Who was about to walk out the door when your mom's friend called?
Okay, good. I thought I heard walk. I didn't hear walk, did I?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, remember, with the verb talk and walk, the L is completely silent, okay? We don't pronounce it. Talk and walk, okay? Now I'm going to have Anna ask me one more time, and this time she's going to give me perfect intonation, right?
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Who was about to walk out? Okay. Who was about to walk out the door when your mom's friend called?
Good, okay. Yes, I have lunch with my friends every Wednesday.
Who has lunch with your friends every Wednesday?
Okay, or you can ask me who I have lunch with.
Okay. Who did you have lunch with? Who do you have lunch with every Wednesday?
Okay, good. All right, now with no hesitation, ask me again.
Who do you have lunch with every Wednesday?
Good, okay. Who do I have lunch with every Wednesday?
With your friends.
Exactly. She was talking to her neighbor when her cousin rang the doorbell. Okay, so here we have the verb to ring. Okay, so ding, ding, ring, right? Every day I ring. Yesterday I rang. It's irregular. And lately I've rung. Exactly. Okay? So she was talking to her neighbor when her cousin rang the doorbell.
Who was she talking to when her cousin rang the doorbell?
Okay, so we could say that one. Who was she talking to when her cousin rang the doorbell? Okay, or who rang the doorbell when she was talking to her cousin? We can use either one of them. Okay, just to practice with that word. Okay, now how do you say quién one more time?
Who?
At home, how do you say quién? Who. Okay, great. Remember, it's a very soft sound. Okay, and we don't use the vocal cords. That's why it sounds so soft. All right, the next part, the third conditional.
Okay.
All right, is that your favorite conditional out of the three?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. At home, is that your favorite conditional? I hope so. Okay, that's what we're going to practice today. So I will give you a sentence, and I want you to form the conditional with the sentence. Okay, giving me a logical conclusion.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll give you an example. I didn't go to the party because I wasn't invited. Okay? So with the sentence, I want you to form a logical conclusion with a conditional.
Had you been invited?
Okay, let's start with if.
If you had been invited to the party, you would have gone.
Exactly. Okay, so the answer is if you would have been invited to the party, okay, or if you had been invited to the party, you would have gone, right? The would we put at the end. If you had been invited to the party, you would have gone, okay? I didn't get to class on time because the bus broke down.
If the bus hadn't broken down, you would have gotten to class on time?
Exactly, okay. If the bus hadn't broken down, what does break down mean? To break, exactly, estropearse. If the bus hadn't broken down, I would have gotten to class on time. Okay? All right.
Okay.
Well done.
That's
all the time we have for today. So I will see you again next time. And I will see you again next time as well. Goodbye.
Okay, to come up with an idea, to come up with a different proposition or a proposal, to come up with something, I need to do something now. I have to fill the next 8 minutes with English, with relevant content. I need to come up with something. I don't have any ideas. Maria, what can I do? I need to do something. I need to come up with an idea. What can I teach? You see, in this point in the method, it says, teach whatever you want. My God, I don't have any indications. I don't have any pointers here. I don't have anything to do. I don't know what to do. I need to come up with an idea. I need to come up with something. Can you help me come up with something? I need your help. I need your help. We need to come up with something to do. If I don't come up with something to do, I have a big problem. I can't spend the whole 8 or 9 minutes simply talking. I need to come up with something interesting. Well, look, I have an idea. I've come up with an idea. I've come up with an idea. Yeah, my idea is to change to camera 1. Maybe camera 1 will give me more inspiration and I can come up with something interesting to do. Let's change, please. Okay. Now, hello, camera 1. How are you? Come on, I need your help. I'm having trouble coming up with something to do. I just can't seem to come up with anything to do. I need to come up with something to do. Excuse me, Rafa, can you come up with an idea? Come on, think of something. Think up something. If you come up with an idea, I'll invite you to dinner tonight. You can't come up with anything. What about you, Ines? Ines, can you come up with something? I can't come up with anything. I need to come up with some ideas. Well, I need to come up with some ideas. Okay. The expression to come, well, the verb to come is venir. Okay. To come up, all right, to come up is surgir. La idea no surgió en la reunión. Bueno, no salió. La idea no salió en la reunión. That subject didn't come up. The subject didn't come up. The meeting was about the installation of coffee machines in the office area. But I know that you wanted to talk about the car park problem, but the subject just didn't come up during the meeting. We spent our time talking about coffee machines, so your subject didn't come up. Now, that's salir, cuando sale. Ahora, to come up with is sacar una idea o un tema. Sobre todo una idea, to come up with. All right. I can't come up with anything. I need ideas. We need to come up with some new ideas, some fresh ideas. All right? So I have a proposal. Well, I've come up with an idea. I've come up with an idea. Se me ha surgido una idea. Se me ocurre una idea. I've come up with an idea. Ding, bling, a light. Let's have a brainstorming session. Let's hold a brainstorming meeting next Wednesday. Yeah, in my office. And we'll spend an hour coming up with different ideas. And the person who comes up with the best idea will win a trip to Tahiti in the South Pacific. Yeah. So let's get together. And in the meantime, before the meeting, try to try to come up with some ideas. Yeah. The other day in the meeting, we were in a meeting talking about, again, coffee machines for the office. And my good friend Pedro came up with an idea to solve this problem completely. Yeah. Yes. There are new types of small miniature coffee machines that don't create congregation of people around the machine. All right? So Pedro came up with a brilliant idea. Yeah. Se le ocurrió una idea brillante. He came up with. To come up with es cuando se le ocurre a uno, alguien, una idea sobre todo. To came up with an idea. Now, I need to fill up the rest of the minutes here, but I can't come up with any ideas. I don't really know what to do. I have to come up with something because I need to fill the time. I can't simply tell Maria to stop the program because I can't come up with any ideas for teaching you. Okay? Because the ideas, it says here, do whatever you want. Yeah. But that means I need to use my ability to improvise. I need to use my imagination. And my imagination is not very good. I simply can't come up I can't come up with anything to do. It just, nothing occurs to me. What should I do? I need to come up with something. I need to come up with something to do. Yes. Maybe I can come up with a good excuse to stop the program. Maybe I can tell Maria that I have a high fever. That's an idea. Yeah, I think I've come up with a good idea. I can tell Maria that I have a high fever and we need to stop. That way I don't need to fill up this dead time. I can, yeah. You know, usually I come up with some type of idea to come up with. Yes. Certain jobs don't require too much creativity. Some jobs don't require much innovation or innovative thinking or creative thinking. But other jobs, yes, other jobs require a lot of creative thinking. You need to come up with a lot of interesting ideas, to come up with some new proposals, to come up with new things to propose, to come up with new directions, to move in certain directions. Yeah. And so every week we have a meeting of the R&D department, research and development. And every week we come up with new ideas. Last week there were 2 ideas. Yeah, I remember. Jorge came up with the idea of using additional lights in that area to shine in such a way to make it more attractive, to make the entire picture more attractive. Sevik came up with an interesting idea too. He came up with the idea of putting a little bit less makeup on my face, and it makes a complete change. All right. Also, Julio came up with the idea that Maria should always stay in one place over there, because sometimes she distracts me and I look that way. Okay. So Julio came up with that idea. We have a meeting once a week to come up with new ideas to improve this program, what we call continuous improvement. All right? We're always trying to find ways to continuously improve. So we're always trying to come up with new ideas to come up with. And I'm sure that during the break, after our sponsors, Maria will come up with a new idea. She always comes up with new ideas. All right. Our sponsors are waiting to say something. I don't know what, but I'm sure they've come up with something interesting to say. Well, during the break, did you come up with any new ideas to improve this program? I asked you before the break to think about ways of improving this program, and I was hoping you would come up with something interesting to say. Have you come up with anything interesting? Maria came up with 2 really good ideas. Yeah, that we're going to analyze now, but I really like these. Maria always comes up with ideas. She's an idea factory. She's constantly thinking about ways to improve this program, and she always comes up with something interesting. She always comes up with something interesting. And during the break, she came up with the idea of using camera 1 first and then camera 2, which would change people. It would get people's attention. She came up with that idea, which I think is interesting. And she came up with another idea. She came up with another idea that I'll tell you about a little bit later.
Hello again, and welcome to another exciting part of this exciting course, which is nearly coming to an end. Okay, my name's Richard, as you know, and I'm sitting here with David. How are you, David?
I'm really
I keep saying David.
Yes, whatever you want.
David. Come sale David, no?
I'm really excited.
He's excited. I hope you're excited at home too, because we're going to look at something really, really exciting, which is the phrasal verb to come up with an idea, to come up with something. Okay? Which means, David?
Encontrar una idea o proponer una idea.
Exactamente, good. Plantear una idea, dar con una idea. Often when you come up with a good idea, cuando das con una buena idea, you come up with a good idea. Okay? By the way, this verb is inseparable, which means we always have to say to come up with an idea.
Okay.
And even if we use a pronoun, okay, we would say to come up with one.
Okay.
To come up with it. Who came up with that? Okay, so we never separate up and with. We have 2 prepositions in play The best thing to do here is learn it as a single verb, to come up with, to come up with, to come up with. Dar con. Una buena idea, okay?
Okay.
Bien. I'm going to ask you some questions. I want you to obviously answer in the fullest form possible. Everybody at home too, okay? Make sure you're taking part, because if you're not, you know what I'm going to tell you. You're wasting your time. David will take the lead, but I want you to follow right on his heels, right behind him. David, has anyone come up with a good idea?
Yes. A lot of people.
Well, imagine we're in a meeting. David, has anyone come up with a good idea yet?
Yes, I came up with a very good idea.
Good, excellent. So, David, do you normally come up with good ideas?
No, I don't usually come up with good ideas.
How many good ideas have you come up with so far this week?
Let's say 1.5.
Okay, David has come up with 1.5 good ideas. If it's only half an idea, I'm not sure if it's a good idea then.
Okay, I'm waiting for someone to complete it.
Okay, so it's an idea with potential.
Yes.
Okay, who came up with that idea?
I don't know who came up with that idea.
I don't know who came up with that idea.
I don't know who came up with that idea.
Muy bien. I don't know who came up with that idea either. That's why I asked you.
Okay.
Who came up with that idea? Do you know who came up with that idea? ¿Cuál es la pregunta? David?
Who came up with that
¿En
idea?
español?
¿A quién se le ocurrió esa idea?
Muy bien. Who came up with that idea? It's brilliant. Okay. By the way, we often use the word brilliant when we're talking or qualifying an idea. We wouldn't say, that's a fabulous idea. It's the normal, se puede decir, but the normal adjective is brilliant. A brilliant idea. Okay? They kind of go hand in hand. Idea and brilliant.
Okay.
Okay. Ask me if I usually come up with good ideas.
Do you usually come up with good ideas?
Y ahora con fluidez.
Do you usually come up with good ideas?
Poco más?
Do you usually come up with good ideas?
Fantastic. No, I don't come up with good ideas most of the time. Ask me where I come up with my best ideas.
Where do you come up with your best ideas?
I come up with my best ideas in the shower.
Okay.
Okay. Where do you come up with your best ideas?
I come up with my best ideas in bed.
In bed, okay.
Yes.
Ask me where Richard, the other Richard, where
Okay.
he comes up with his best ideas.
Where does Richard come up with his best ideas?
Okay, the other Richard comes up with his best ideas at traffic lights. ¿Qué son?
Los semáforos.
Los semáforos, exactly. He always says this. I always have my best ideas. I always come up with my best ideas at traffic lights.
Okay.
So there you go. There you go, una frase hecha. Significa, ahí lo tienes.
Ahí lo tienes.
There you go. Okay, there you go. Muy bien. Did Juan come up with a brilliant idea?
Yes, John came up with a brilliant idea.
Good. What was John's brilliant idea?
John's brilliant idea was to fly to the moon.
Wow, that is a brilliant idea that John came up with. Okay, what's the best idea you've ever come up with?
The best idea I've ever come up with was to become an actor.
Muy bien, okay. Now ask me the same question.
What was the best idea you came up with?
En mi vida, entonces no.
Okay, what's the best idea you've ever come up with?
Muy bien. What's the best idea you've ever come up with? You notice how the end of the question ends with. What's the best idea you've ever come up with? Okay? It's a bit strange for Spaniards, but that's how it is. What's the best idea you've ever come up with?
Yeah.
I think the best idea I've ever come up with is taking part in this show.
Okay.
All right.
I think so. I agree.
And inviting you along to be my student.
Okay, thank you.
Bien. Do we need to come up with a brilliant idea, David?
Yes, we need to come up with a brilliant idea.
Let's imagine we work in a company, David
Yes.
and myself, we work in a company and things are going really badly. We're not selling, nobody's buying, we're in trouble.
Okay.
We need to come up with a brilliant idea. Have you got one?
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Not yet.
All right. We need time. We need time to come up with a brilliant idea. Okie dokie. Now, we don't only used to come up with when we're talking about ideas. We also use it, for example, when we're talking about excuses.
Okay.
Okay? Cuando te inventas una excusa, you come up with an excuse.
I have a good one.
You have a good one. Okay.
Yes.
David, what's your excuse? What's the excuse you've come up with?
When I was coming here, I was abducted by aliens. Then I couldn't do my homework today.
I've heard that one before.
Really?
In fact, I used to use it myself at school and it never worked.
Okay.
Nunca funcionó. Bien, but what is the best excuse you've ever come up with? Or was that it?
No. I have another one better. Yes, the best excuse.
I have a better one.
I have a better one.
Not another one better.
Yes.
I'm all ears.
Yes. The best excuse I've ever come up with was when I said that a poor man in the street, a beggar, asked me to help him. Then I had to take him to the hospital and give him some money and take care of him for 2 hours.
Okay.
Because I was 2 hours late to a meeting.
Okay. I got to a meeting 2 hours late.
Okay.
No, I was to a meeting 2 hours late.
Okay.
Well, I was 2 hours late to a meeting. I got to a meeting 2 hours late, or I arrived 2 hours late for a meeting. And did it work?
It worked. Everybody
Perfect.
believed it.
Good stuff. What's the worst excuse you've ever come up with?
The worst excuse I've ever come up with is when I said that I had been in church praying.
You've been at church praying?
Yes, nobody believed it.
That didn't work?
Yes, that didn't work.
Never mind. Okay, David, thank you ever so much.
Okay, thank you.
For helping us have such fun with this lovely expression to come up with an idea, to come up with excuses. See you very soon. Take care and don't forget to study. Bye-bye.
Okay, welcome back. You know, I'm speaking to you on camera number 2, but actually, I'm supposed to be on camera number 1 now, actually. So I think I'll change. Okay, Maria gets very angry when I don't change in time, but actually, she doesn't really care. She doesn't really care. It's her job. You know, it's her job to get angry if I don't follow her instructions, but actually, she doesn't get angry. She seems angry. She puts on the face of being angry, but actually she's calm and placid, all right, a normal person. But to keep her happy, I'm going to change. I'm going to change to camera 1. Let's change right now. Okay. Actual. Vamos primero con el adjetivo y luego el verbo actually. Okay, actual. Escrito actual. Fijaos primero cómo lo pronuncio. Hace, y luego zapato. Shoe. Mi zapato. My shoe. Actual. Y luego el adverbio actually. Actor, actually. Okay, actual means real. Importante aquí, actual no significa actual. Actual no significa actual. Actual en español es ahora. Actualmente estoy viviendo en una casa alquilada. Means ahora. Si digo en inglés, actually I'm living in a rented house, it means a decir verdad. It means realmente. Actually. Okay? If you say, mi esposa actual, entiendo que es tu segunda o tercera, que no es tu primera esposa, que has estado casado antes. Si dices mi mujer actual, mi esposa actual, si dices en inglés my actual wife, la gente se ríe, porque imagina tu esposa ficticia, a diferencia de tu esposa real, la real y la ficticia. All right. So you can't say my actual wife, because it means you have a fictitious wife too. You have 2 wives, a fictitious wife and an actual wife. So actual means real, okay? For example, las cifras presupuestadas contrastadas con las cifras reales. a posteriori, ya incurridas. So you have the estimated figures, las estimadas, las presupuestadas, the estimated figures, las previstas, and the actual figures, actual, which means real. So if you're working in the world of business, and in English you see the actual figures no son las cifras actuales, son las cifras reales comparadas con las previstas o presupuestadas o estimadas. In companies normally, in big companies, they forecast the sales and they forecast other items. All right? They forecast the sales. Every month, the sales are going to go this way. It's the expectation. And then as the months progress, you compare the actual figures with the estimated figures. The estimated sales, or sales estimates, the estimated sales, and then the actual sales. And you make a comparison, and there's some variances, and you try to find why the sales are better or worse than the estimated. The actual sales are better this month than the estimated sales, or the actual sales are less. So actual means real, okay? Now the word actually is used all the time para decir, pues a decir verdad. Pero la verdad es que, mira, sí soy profesor, pero la verdad es que enseño poco. Yes, I'm an English teacher by profession, but actually I teach very, 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 very little. Actually. Eso no significa que actualmente. Significa que a decir verdad. Okay. Actually. All right. Actually. You know, Maria says, she talks a lot about Murcia. Maria's constantly talking about Murcia, but actually, she's from Almeria. Okay. You know, many people think, for example, that Mr. Rodriguez Zapatero, the current president of the Spanish government, most people think he's from León, but actually he's from Valladolid. He was born in Valladolid. He wasn't born in. So actually he's Vallisoletano, not Leonés. All right. A lot of people think that the word León, the city in Spain, the Spanish city León, comes from the concept of a lion, the animal, but actually it comes from the expression legión. Okay. Because that was a Roman legion, Legion Romana, there, in that area, there and in Asturica, Astorga now. So, actually, León is not from the idea of an animal. It's really from the idea of a legion. In this case, the Roman legions, okay? León, Legión, all right? Most people don't know that, but actually it's true. Yes. And many people think that paraguas, the word paraguas in Spanish, the expression is para las aguas. But it's not. Actually, it means parar las aguas. It's para. It stops. So a literal translation into English of mi paraguas is my stop waters, not my for waters, okay? So actually, it comes to the idea of parar las aguas, not para las aguas. Actually. Okay? Actually means realmente, en realidad. O sea, la verdad es que, okay? That's actually, all right? Actually, all right? Now, my father worked all his life in life insurance, but actually, it's not. Actually, he was in management more than in life insurance, because his job was to manage insurance agents. His job was not to sell insurance. So actually, he was involved more in the concept. The work he did was more managerial and not really directly related to the product of insurance, life insurance in this case. So actually, he was a manager more than a seller of life insurance, okay? Actually, all right? The defense budget of the United States is growing, but actually it's going down in real terms, all right, compared with inflation. Okay, actually, realmente, don't forget.
Hello and welcome to Vaughan Inglés 4.0. My name is Alberto Alonso and I am your teacher for today. That's right. So let me introduce you to my student, because Every teacher needs a student, right? I mean, it's part of the equation. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a very special student. He's doing a great job, and his name is Juan. Hello, Juan. How are you?
Same old, same old. How are you?
Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Can't complain. Can't complain. Eso es otra que decimos. How are you? Can't complain. El delante es muy importante. Same old, same old. Can't complain. Ese es muy importante, eh?
Okay, I'll keep it in mind.
Keep it in mind. How do you say hacer ejercicio?
To work out.
Good. All right. 5 points. I'm testing that you remember things that we worked on in previous classes. How do you say apuntarse?
To sign up for.
Very good, very good. How do you say dejar algo?
To drop out.
Very impressive. Very impressive. I must say, I am impressed. I'm very impressed. All right, well, ask me what we're going to do today.
What are we going to do today?
Today we're going to look at some vocabulary, and we're going to look at a false friend. Yeah, false friends. Now, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite false friend?
Actually.
Actually, I do. Por cierto, sí. Actually, yeah, that's one of the big ones. One of the big ones is that. What are some other ones? There are so many of them.
Yeah, pretty much.
There are a lot of them. The time, el tiempo, is the weather. We don't say the time, right?
True.
What's the time? So there are many, many false friends like this, right? Okay, well, we're going to look at the one you said. Probably, actualmente, currently, in inglés, is currently. Actually significa otra cosa, y vamos a mirar eso hoy. So, si quieres decir actualmente, it's not actually, it's currently. Okay, actualidad, how do we say actualidad?
I don't know, really.
Current events. Okay, acontecimientos actuales. Current events. Okay, all right, let's start with some vocabulary. Sarcasmo.
Sarcasm.
Sarcasm. Muy bien la pronunciación. Sarcasm. Sarcasm. And we say someone who uses sarcasm is?
Sarcastic.
Sarcastic. Sarcastic. No seas sarcástico. How do we say that?
Don't be sarcastic.
Don't be sarcastic. Do not be sarcastic with me, young man. Okay, sarcastic. Okay, how do you say plan? Now, we can say a plan, but there's another way too.
Scheme.
A scheme. Very good, yeah. Oh, this is one of your schemes, uno de tus planes. Scheme, okay, to scheme. A ver, maleducado o borde.
Rude.
Rude. Don't be rude. No seas maleducado. What's an example of rude behavior?
When people push you in the bus, for instance, or in the metro.
And they don't say they're sorry,
Exactly.
for example. Yeah, that's very rude, sure. It's very rude as well when there's an older person standing there and there are 10 young people just sitting there like, let them stand. I've seen pregnant women standing.
Yeah.
I was standing too, so yo no pude darle, I couldn't give them my seat. But yeah, this is rude behavior, rude behavior. Okay, let's take a look. And dominio de sí mismo.
Self-restraint.
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 Self-restraint, okay? Ask me if I have any self-restraint.
Do you have any self-restraint?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I have self-restraint. And the last one is dependiente o dependienta de una tienda.
Sales clerk.
A sales clerk or directamente clerk. We can say a clerk. This is actually a film, Kevin Smith. It's a film called Clerks from the 90s, I believe. It's called Dependientes. I'm sure in Spanish it's called Un tío que trabaja en un video.
Probably, yeah.
Cambian el título. They always do that. And it's hard. It's really hard to talk about films. Because you're like, no, el que tiene Robert De Niro. Well, esos son la mayoría de las películas de Scorsese. You know? Uno de los nuestros is one of my favorite, Goodfellas. And I'm like, el que tiene Scorsese, De Niro. Okay, Casino. No, no esa. Raging Bull. No, son mafiosos. Yeah, that's like 50 of his movies.
That's true.
So it's really difficult sometimes. Stop changing the names. Por favor, please. You're confusing us. Us guiris, we don't know what to do. All right, so we said actualmente is currently. Actual is current, right? So what does actually mean?
De hecho. Or
De hecho, se puede decir, o en realidad. Actually, en realidad. So if I say, you're from Sevilla, right? No.
No, actually I'm from Madrid.
There you go. No, en realidad. So usually when you're correcting people, right? Your name is Pablo, right?
No, actually it's Juan.
No, actually it's Juan. There you go. Esto es el uso de actually. You speak Chinese, right?
No, actually, I don't.
Okay. You're getting the hang of it. Estás pillando. Pillar el truco is to get the hang of it. Are you getting the hang of it?
Yeah, I think I'm getting the hang of it.
Good, good. Eso es el truco, también lo repites. Are you sure you're getting the hang of it?
I'm sure I'm getting the hang of it.
Actually, I'm actually getting the hang of it here, okay? I'm actually getting the hang of it. Estoy, en realidad, por cierto, estoy pillando el truco. Okay, you live in Segovia, don't you?
No, actually, I live in Madrid.
Oh, okay, okay. See? You're getting the hang of it. You get it. Anytime someone tells you something, it's like, not really, okay? You have 3 children, right?
Actually, I have one.
Okay, that's right. See, my memory, I have really bad memory, and I can't remember. You told me all these things before, right? You speak Russian, right?
No, actually, I don't.
Oh, that's right. You speak French? Okay, ahí sí que acerté. Okay, let's see. You work as a politician, right?
No, actually, hopefully I don't.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
Esto es otro error también.
Thankfully.
Hopefully es como, esperemos que sí. Pero lo que querías decir, me parece, es thankfully.
Yes.
Esto es otro, ¿eh? Otro muy, los lees, los adverbios, como decimos, right? So this is another one. Cuidado con esa. Say, no, gracias a Dios. Thankfully, I'm not. Right? Thankfully. Okay. Oh, you have blue eyes, right?
No, actually, I don't. I think they're brown.
They're brown eyes, that's right. Okay. You are an Atletico fan, right?
No, actually, I'm not. I like it though, but I'm not.
I like them.
I like them though, but I'm not an Atletico fan.
Oh, that's right. You're a Barca fan.
No, I don't like them actually.
No, actually, I don't like them at all. That's right. So you're a Barca? No, Football Club Sevilla.
No, actually, I'm a Real Madrid fan.
That's what I wanted to hear. A Real Madrid fan. No, actually, he's a Real Madrid fan. That's right. Okay, so you see this use of actually, it's cuando alguien te asume algo, someone assumes something about you and it's incorrect. You say, no, bueno, en realidad, you speak 6 languages, right?
No, actually, I speak 3.
I speak 3. Right. Now, actually, I speak 3. You grew up in London, right?
No, actually, I grew up in Madrid.
And the United States, too.
And the United States, too, that's true.
See, I remembered some things. All right. Well, this class is almost over. No, actually, it's over. Ciao.
Okay, another class. Slowly but surely, we're making progress. Slowly but surely, we're eliminating classes and moving towards the last day, the final judgment. Yes, sir. The day of reckoning. Class 178 is now part of our past. Tomorrow we'll start with class 179. We have 17 classes left, okay? Which means you have 17 more basic opportunities to improve your English, but you have many, many more. As many opportunities as you want to add, as many opportunities as you want to create out of the available time you have. Time is elastic. We always have enough time for the things that are really important. So, when people complain they don't have time to learn English, it's simply because English is not their priority. So, make time elastic for you. Stretch time to find more for English. See you tomorrow.